Okay, all right. Okay, guys. You guys still remember what they are? Positive economics and normative economics. Can someone explain that, like, very quickly? What they are? Positive economics and normative economics. Yeah. What exactly they are? What were we talking about last week? Oh, okay, Jago. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, facts versus opinions. Uh huh. Yeah, something factual and normative. Something like subjective value judgment. Opinions. Okay, right? And we know. Well, we can just quickly go back to the summary over here. Okay, so you see here, yeah, when you talk about positive economics or positive statements, all right, you will see, it could be true, it could be false. Okay, yeah, but when you're talking about something, you know, like opinions, judgments, right, value judgments, there's no true or false. Okay, and when economists they are exploring this subject, they always come across with you know positive statements and normative statements, and that's why sometimes so many people they would say economics there's no true or false. Yeah, and this is why sometimes there's no true or false, because sometimes they are just discussing something very normative. Okay, yeah, sometimes they're discussing something positive, sometimes they're discussing something normative. All right, okay, yeah, all right. And here, look, just a quick exercise. Okay, so try to identify if the following statements, if they are positive or normative statements. Okay, all right. So for number one, so what do you think? Households in Hong Kong save too little of their income. Okay, normative. So where can you see that is normative, Krieger? Yeah, too little. Yeah, right, right. Yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Because when you talk about too little, like what is too little? Okay, different people they have different opinion, they have different ideas, right? Yeah, maybe to you that amount of income is enough, but to some people, yeah, that may be too little. So yeah, you cannot really tell, okay, if that's true or false. Okay, what about number two? Economics should be concerned with how to reduce poverty. What do you think? Economics should be concerned. Okay, yeah. Once again, it's a normative statement. Okay, because you are only trying to project your opinion. Okay, how things should be. Okay, and to you, yeah, you think that the economy will be great if we are able to reduce poverty. Okay, so that is a normative statement because there are so many things that we can consider, right, when we're talking about economic objectives, right? Economic growth, price stability, low unemployment, yeah, those areas. Okay, right? Yeah, still remember that? Yeah, cool. Right, what about number three? Okay, if personal saving, okay, increase ceteris paribus. Okay, here, yeah, very important information here. Yeah, assumption that we always make. Right, there will be a fall in personal spending. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, yeah, sure. People they did some study and they found out this is the human behavior we have normally. Okay, when we yeah, yeah, okay, when we try to save more money into the bank, then we spend less. Okay, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The logic here. Okay. What about number four? Economics is a study of choice. Right, positive. Okay, yeah. Throughout all the experiments and all the observations in different areas, in different studies. Okay, we know the subject we are trying to study. The idea of making choices. Okay, how do we use the scarce resources to maximize our satisfaction? Okay, right? Yeah. So yeah, positive. That's very good. Okay, and last but not least, yeah, withdrawing extradition law in Hong Kong will benefit the society. Yeah, that will be a normative statement. Okay, right? Because yeah, without further study, investigation, we wouldn't know. Okay, yeah, and that's why last time we talked about this. Okay, all the conflicts that we see right now. Okay, that's something we need to do further investigation. Okay, we need to do further experiments, studies in order to show if someone is right or wrong, right, etc., etc. Okay, so right now number 5, yeah, normative. Okay, normative. All right, but once again, those two ideas, they are not completely isolated. Okay, yeah, they are always blended with each other, right? Yeah, so yeah, in the reality. So make sure you know that. Okay, all right. So in the reality, things are always more complicated. Okay, all right. Yeah, so very good. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Okay, to the next part, and this is going to be the last part of the introduction unit. Okay, unit 1. Okay, unit 1. Okay, this is going to be the last part. And for the last part, well, let's see. Okay, let's see. So, okay, come on, tell me, who are those elder people you see on the screen? Yeah. Come on. Who are those elder people? Yeah, philosophers. Okay, right. Yeah, you see some old people from ancient Greece, and you see some old people from ancient China. Okay, they are philosophers. Okay, and because of all those people, yeah, you have different schools of thoughts when it comes to philosophy. Okay, but when you are talking about economics, we do have something very similar. Okay, we do have some ideas very similar to what we have here. Okay, so when we are talking about economics, there are also many schools of thoughts in economics. Okay, all right. So when you're talking about Chinese philosophical schools of thought, you can talk about like Yu Ga, Fa Ga, Dou Ga, right? Yeah, so many. Okay, right? So many. Okay, but when you're talking about economics, there are also many schools of thoughts, and that's why they always battling each other. Okay, yeah, some of them, when they believe in one school of thought, then they will argue no, the other school of thought is incorrect, and so that's the other people who has another school of thought. Okay, all right. So this is economics. It's very complicated. Okay, yeah, so many different ideas. Okay, and that's why once again people they always said, yeah, economics there's no true or false. Okay, because different people they just have different ideas, and they all focusing on different things. Okay, so yeah, it's too difficult. Yeah, sometimes economics is not that simple. All right, so here well, look, so that's why look, this part here is completely new. Okay, all right, yeah, this is one of the new contents that you have learned from the new curriculum. But I would say, look, it's pretty good. Okay, because when you want to understand economics thoroughly, okay, you need to try to understand like who came up with those ideas and why did they came up with those ideas. Okay, yeah, so far all the contents that you have learned, all right, they are some ideas from different people. Okay, and right now we never knew where they came from. Okay, so now we are going to learn that like very quickly. Okay, so usually this kind of things, okay, it will take a person like a few.
Excuse me, I
Hi.
got technical problems. That's why I'm late.
Oh, hi,
Sorry. I
Bryce.
do have because I got math lesson. I can go in to the meeting for a long time as well because my device is kind of lagging every time when I go into a meeting. So I can go in every time. So if you just don't believe, you can ask my math classmates. So
No, I do believe you. Okay, all right, Bryce. Okay, so but at the
yeah,
same
but just to
time,
tell,
yeah.
no problem. That's all. That's all.
Okay, all right, but at the same time, yeah, try to improve that situation. Okay, I would love to believe in people. Okay, this is me. All right, yeah, try to believe in you guys. Okay, but yeah, yeah. Well, this is all I want to say. Okay, I don't want to say anything more yet because, well, all right, yeah. Well, let's carry on. Okay, all right, yeah. So you see here. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn. Okay, so you make sure, yeah, yeah. So you are going to learn some more history and philosophy, I guess. Okay, all right, yeah. But you can tell. Look, this new curriculum is more holistic, okay, than the one that we had, okay, before. So yeah. So now I want you to spend like 10 minutes, okay, trying to finish watching this video here. Yeah, I know. Is a long video, but I think it's totally worth it. All right, yeah, because if I just tell you to watch it, in your own time, then you won't watch it. Okay, so now can you just quickly watch this? Okay, it will give you a glimpse of what you will have to know. Okay, because it will take so many years, a few years for students to understand different philosophies from different economists, and we are just going to spend 1 or 2 lessons to finish this. Okay, so we need some crash course contents. Okay, so watch this now.
We live in strange times.
Welcome to Crash Course Economics. I'm Adrienne Hill.
And I'm Jacob Clifford.
Now, believe it or not, we actually read many of your comments on YouTube.
First,
Some are productive and others not so much.
this guy looks like Mark Cuban, but not as attractive or rich.
We've noticed that some people are disappointed we haven't covered the different economic ideologies.
You're ignoring the Austrian school. What's this Keynesian trash?
Well, guess what? Today we're going to talk about other schools of economic thought.
To understand these economic theories, we're going to have to jump into a little bit of history. In 1798, a British economist named Thomas Malthus argued that population growth would outpace food production, so eventually humans will run out of food and starve. You wonder why some people call economics the dismal science. Well, Malthus was wrong, dismally wrong. The world population has grown from 1 billion in his time to over 7 billion today. And it turns out that the famines we have seen are largely man-made disasters that have very little to do with our ability to produce food. But Malthus was writing at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. He didn't factor in advancements in technology, agriculture production, or transportation. So with the information he had, he was kind of right, but he was still wrong. Economic theories are constantly being proven, disproven, and revised. The problem is, when these theories are wrong, millions of people can be adversely affected. Take Malthus. Some scholars combined his ideas with those of Charles Darwin and concluded that giving assistance to poor people and social programs like welfare are actually immoral. This is called social Darwinism, and it's completely wrong. Now, economics is not an exact science. It aims to draw conclusions about human behavior without the benefits of labs or perfect control groups. Economic theories reflect different attitudes about human nature, and those are likely to change over time. Let's go to the thought bubble.
The founder of modern economics was a Scottish philosopher named Adam Smith. In 1776, his book, The Wealth of Nations, was published. It was an organized discussion about production, markets, and economic theory, and it was tremendously influential. Smith introduced the idea that a person following their own self-interest could end up serving the common good. He also advocated free trade. Many countries at the time had heavy tariffs which protected their domestic manufacturers at the expense of trade. A generation later, British economist David Ricardo expanded on Smith's ideas by introducing the theory of comparative advantage, the idea that two people or countries can both benefit from trade, even if one of them can produce more of everything. When both focused on what they're best at and then trade, everyone benefits. Anyway, the field of economics grew, advancing ideas like private property and free markets. And then along comes the Communist Manifesto in 1848. Rather than examining individual behavior, German philosophers Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels looked at economic classes and argued that history was explained by the conflict between workers and property owners. This process would inevitably lead workers to overthrow their bosses, ushering in a new stateless and classless system called communism. Marx followed this up with Das Kapital. Political movements spawned by Marxist economics challenged Adam Smith's view that individual self-interest serves the common good. The end result was two main camps: free market capitalism supporting private property, and communism advocating collective ownership of the means of production. Thanks, Thoughtbubble. Despite Marx's challenge, market-based economic theory continued to dominate through the end of the 19th century, with contributions from French, British, and American economists. This body of thought is called classical economics, and it was embodied in a book called Principles of Economics, published in 1890 by English economist Alfred Marshall. Marshall organized and defined concepts we still use today, like supply and demand and marginal utility, which we're going to get to soon. But as capitalism was expanding around the world, Marxist movements were too. By the early 20th century, this battle for hearts and minds, along with political and social unrest in Europe, led to the establishment of the Soviet Union in 1922.
As communism was maturing in the Soviet Union, the Great Depression crushed the market economies of the world's richest countries. It also dealt a devastating blow to classical economics. The theories of Smith and Marshall didn't have much to say about how something like this could happen or how to fix it. The British economist John Maynard Keynes proposed new answers in his 1936 book, A General Theory of Money, Interest, and Employment, which basically launched the field of macroeconomics. Along with John Hicks, Keynes argued that market economies don't self-correct quickly because prices and wages take time to adjust. They claim that during recessions, it's necessary for the government to get involved by using monetary and fiscal policy to increase output and decrease unemployment. Keynes wasn't supporting communism, but his views directly challenged classical economists who saw government intervention as universally harmful for the economy. Now, eventually, Keynesian economics became part of mainstream economic theory. See, I told you, economic theory changes over time, and all it took in this case was a catastrophic global depression. Keynes' ideas, combined with the ever-present Marxist critique, opened the door to more and more government involvement. Since the Great Depression, many nations have pursued a political and economic ideology called socialism, although socialist ideas and policies have been around since the 19th century. In most cases, these economies allow for private property and markets, but also have government ownership of industry, significant regulation, and big public programs like universal health care. The Scandinavian countries like Norway and Sweden, they love these socialist policies. Now, the US has rejected many of these socialist ideas, but the US government, or at least the economists that advise politicians, are clearly in favor of using Keynesian economic policies when the economy is in trouble.
But as socialism and Keynesian economics expanded, other groups continued to forcefully push for private property and free markets. The most vocal was often the Austrian School of Economics. They also have a very vocal fan base in our comment section. Friedrich Hayek and Ludwig von Mises, who were, unsurprisingly, from Austria, argued that heavy state involvement has never produced the results it promised, and that regulation and government tinkering is actually a problem, not a solution. Rejecting nearly all forms of fiscal and monetary policy, the Austrian school today argues the economy is just too complicated to manipulate. This backlash against government intervention was carried forward in the US by Milton Friedman. Like the Austrians, Friedman advocated privatization of many functions that have been assumed by government, famously proposing school vouchers and deregulation of the economy. He also concluded that the Great Depression could be blamed on botched monetary policy rather than some inherent fault of capitalism. The theories of Friedman and his followers at the University of Chicago came to be called the Chicago School School of Economics. Friedman's views got a huge boost in the 1970s. At that time, inflation soared while output stagnated. Remember stagflation? A combination that Keynesian economics had trouble reconciling. Some macroeconomists drew on the insights of the Chicago School to claim that these events disprove Keynesian economics. Building on the ideas of Friedman, another theory of economics gained traction: monetarism. Whew, Stan, so many isms. Monetarists focused on price stability and argue the money supply should be increased slowly and predictably to allow for steady growth. At about the same time, another theory called supply-side economics, or sometimes called trickle-down economics, entered the mainstream. Supply-side economists advocated deregulation and cutting taxes, especially corporate taxes. Mainstream economics today takes ideas from both classical economics, including monetarism, and Keynesian economics. This unified theory is sometimes called the new neoclassical synthesis. And yeah, economists are bad at naming things too. But debates about how and when to implement policies continue. And remember, these are more than just intellectual classroom spats. These policies affect millions of people. The different reactions to the global recession in 2008 are a good example of this. Some economists suggested using Keynesian policies, namely deficit spending. Other economists suggested the more classical approach of reining in excess spending to reduce budget deficits, something called austerity. Believe it or not, economists are still fighting about which of these policies is the right approach and when to use them. We can all agree that Keynes was right about at least one thing, when he said, ideas shape the course of history. So where are all these economic ideologies and theories going to take us in the future? Most countries that once supported strict communism, like China and Cuba, have moved toward capitalism. The only country that's really sticking with it is North Korea, but they're too isolated to be a real test case for an economic system. But this doesn't mean that Marxism is dead. Many capitalist countries have adopted socialist-looking programs. It appears the world's economies are converging towards the middle. But in the end, it turns out it's just really hard to predict the future, especially when we're talking about something as complex as the world economy. Remember Malthus's belief that we're all going to starve? Well, like Malthus, we don't know what kind of changes humanity's going to face in the future. If history has proven anything about economic thought, it's that we should expect surprises that will upset our current economic models. Just like Malthus couldn't imagine that we'd all be alive today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Crash Course Economics is made with the
Okay, so have you guys all fell asleep during this video? Yeah, I mean, look, this is what we have to learn, and I can tell you this video is so powerful. Okay, this video, it includes like 80% of the things that we will have to learn about the history of economics in this part. So you know, once we finish this part, you can go back to this video, and you know, you might be able to understand more. And yeah, it's a very powerful video that you just watched. So after the video, can you name some of the schools of thoughts in economics? Yeah, just throw if you. Okay, yeah, Keynesian. Okay, that's very good. Yeah, at Keynesian economics, that is one of the models that we will focus in detail very soon in macroeconomics. Okay, so Keynesian economics, very important. Okay, look, anything else? Okay, come on, just give me some more. Classical economics. Okay, Jacob, but that is, you know, well, we don't usually call that, you know, that name. Okay, we use another a name for that. Okay, so neoclassical, usually we try to combine. Okay, when we combining classical, Keynesian, and monetarist economics together, then yeah, right, monetarism. Then usually we will classify them as new economics, or you can say new economics, new classical economics. Okay, new classical or new classical economics there to say. Okay, so basically, they are from the same family. Okay, so when you talk about Keynesian, when you talk about monetarism, when you talk about Austrian economics, they are all from the same root. Okay, the root is classical economics. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, and then you see something very different like Marxism. Okay, they have a totally different idea. Okay, when it comes to economics, and we are not going to focus on that. All right, yeah, because it's not mainstream. All right, as you know, okay, yeah, it's capitalism basically, all over the world right now. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, this is the basic ideas that you will have to learn in this part. Okay, I hope you're not getting overwhelmed by this thing here. Okay, well, very soon you will learn them in detail. Okay, we are going to focus a lot on classical economics. We're going to focus a lot on new classical economics and also Keynesian economics. Okay, so yeah, okay, right. Okay, so yeah, so now you know the glimpse of the history that we see in economics, and now we really have to start it from the very beginning. Okay, so yeah, just bear with me. Okay, it's going to be a history class. Okay, all right. So yeah, okay, when we talking about evolution of economics, okay, we need to start from the very beginning. Okay, yeah, come on. All right, you can do it. Okay, so when you look at this, yeah, do they look familiar to you? You have learned all that, right? Yeah, during history classes. Even okay, feudalism, yeah, right, yeah. Also capitalism. Even if you didn't choose history as your option, I think you do know what they are. Okay, yeah, all right. During your junior history lessons. Okay, so I'm not going to focus on those two areas. Okay, well, rather I'm going to focus on the one in the middle. Okay, yeah, anyone who knows anything about mercantilism in the middle here? Anyone who would like to share a little bit about mercantilism? Okay, maximize exports. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, Marco, can I ask you a question? So okay, well, that's very good. And minimize imports. Okay, so my question here is, during that period, yeah, let's say during that period in Europe, okay, yeah, what was the general thought, okay, about the idea of accumulating wealth of a nation or of a country? Yeah, when we talk about accumulation of power or wealth, so during that period, what was the thought? Yeah, what was the general thought? So what was the general idea during that period? Okay, taking economic advantage of poorer countries. Oh, that's very good. That's very good. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I guess Marco, you chose history as your option. Did you? You did? Did? Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, that's very good. Okay. But here I want to expand the idea. From history to economics. Okay. So, guys, when you look at Marco's ideas, okay, yeah, her answers, when she talked about maximizing exports, and I'm sorry, is that he or? Look, this is the problem about online classes. Okay, I don't even know your gender for some of the people. Look, I didn't really check. Okay, on the detail. Okay, I guess I'm gonna do it. Okay, so I'm correct. Okay. Oh wow, you kind of freaked me out. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you, thank you. Not that Marco. Okay, not the Marco that I used to know. Yeah, not. Okay, All right. Yeah. But wait. Can we go back to the lesson? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So when you look at her answer, okay, talking about maximizing exports and minimizing imports, what economic theory can you put into those answers? Maximizing exports, minimizing imports. What are the economic terms, or what are the economic concepts that you can talk about this idea here? You have learned that. Okay, you have learned that. So if we maximize exports and we minimize the imports, what is going to happen? Yeah, BOP. All right, BOP. And come on, I need more. Give me more key terms. Okay, current account. Okay, more. Give me more. If we maximize exports and we minimize imports, what we are going to see? Come on. Okay, trade surplus. Yeah, current account surplus, trade surplus. Okay, right. That's very good. Okay, so you see here, history and economics. Look, you will see some great connection between them. All right, so here, look, when we are trying to focus on economics, when we are looking at mercantilism, okay, yeah. So when we want to know the economic system during that period, okay, yeah. So you see here, just like what Marcus said, okay, the wealth of a nation depends on the amount of gold and silver possessed. Okay, so during that time, look, people, they all believe, okay, this is the only way to build up a nation's wealth, or the power. Okay, the more gold, the more silver that we have, the more powerful the country will become. Okay, and that's why they have the idea of having a great trade surplus. Okay, and we know that, look, in the modern world, if we have a great trade surplus, can you tell me some negative consequences if we have great surplus, if we have great trade surplus? Do you still remember the point? Inflation, yeah, that's true. Okay, that's very true. Okay, inflation, yeah, possibly. Okay, because people they spend more. Okay, all right, and that's why inflation, yeah, will go up. And anything else, when in the modern world, if we have a great trade surplus, what could be the negative consequences? Yeah, we have a few more. Okay, I just want to see if you guys still remember. Come on. Yeah, when you have a great trade surplus, yeah, that is also true. Okay, because when we keep exporting stuff to other countries, okay, then to the local consumption, that there'll be less, because we spend so much resources for exports. That's also true. Okay, currency appreciate and exports become less competitive. That is very good. Yes. Okay, yeah, so Maisie and Katrina, that's very good. Okay, so you are going to expect in the modern world, okay, when we also using the modern money, okay, as transactions, when we have a great trade surplus, there will be an appreciation. And if we have appreciation, exports, they will become less competitive. So that is not good. Okay, yeah. And also, I'll give you one more point. Okay, if you have a great surplus, trade surplus, some countries, they might not be happy, because they spend so much money buying your exports. In other words, okay, so people, they may retaliate. Okay, so you may see some trade war going on. Okay, all right. So you see, in the 21st century, look, the game is totally different. Yeah, the game is totally different when we talk about international trade. Okay, but during the 16th to 18th century, this is how people play this game. Okay, all right. Yeah. So that's why they just knew. All right, as long as I have more gold and I have more silver, then I'll be fine. I'll be great. I'll be doing great. Okay, I'm gonna make this nation great. Okay, so the first thing that they had in their mind is we just have to have a big trade surplus. Okay, and yeah, with that concept, look, we just have to export more to earn more gold and silver, and we are going to make a lot of trade protection so that we are not buying the imports, okay, to avoid gold and silver leaving the country. Okay, all right, so that was the idea. Okay, as long as you remember, the key idea is to have a big trade surplus, then okay, what's going on here. All right, okay, yeah, so try to export as many goods and services as possible, and import, just try to limit the import, okay, as much as you can. All right, avoiding the gold and silver leaving the country. Okay, all right, but you also want to think about this. Okay, take a look at this. So if we do that, okay, if we try to do that, would other countries be happy if you are trying to sell goods to them and not willing to buy from them? Of course they're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy if you are trying to do that. Okay, if they're not going to be happy, they will not be cooperating. They will not be cooperating. So how do we force them to do it? How? So this is the idea, and but when we think about it logically, okay, I don't think that other countries, they would want to, right, cooperate with you or make it cheaper. But but the thing is, look, even when you make it cheaper, okay, it doesn't really matter, okay, because right now, look, you are trying to export as many goods as possible, and you are trying to avoid buying their goods. Okay, so it's like there's only one winner. You are going to be the winner. Okay, and Katrina, that's very good. That is the answer. Okay, we just have to invade the countries. Okay, all right, or we just have to threaten them in many ways. Okay, so at the end, look, based on the mercantilism, okay, during this period, we started to see this. You see the octopus here, okay? We just have to make them our colonies. Okay? Alright, so that we can exploit their economy. Okay? And, from mercantilism, then, somehow colonialism developed. Okay? Right? Okay? So that was the idea. That was a very bad idea. Okay, and you see here, here you have Big Mama, okay, which is the mother country, okay, and here you have the colonies, right? Which are the countries that you have invaded. Okay, all right. So how does it work? Can anyone tell me like how does it work? So if I'm able to make them our colonies, how do we exploit their economy? How do we do that? Oh, okay. Take over the land, resources, people, and make them work for you, and take all the profits. That is the most extreme way to do it. Okay, but during the history, we saw something similar, but not that extreme. Okay, so here, I can show you like how they work. Okay, so take a look at this. Okay, so we did pay, okay, a low price for some of the resources. Okay, all right. So we are going to buy, let's say, foodstuffs, raw materials, okay, from our colonies with low prices. Okay, all right. Okay. And then we are going to process the raw materials, and we make them into manufactured goods, and then we sell them to those colonies with high prices. Okay, so if you see here, you see the cycle here. We keep earning profits. Okay, every time when it comes around. Okay, yeah. So that's why, look, the colonies, they're basically feeding their mom. Okay, so this is the idea. All right, yeah, they are always feeding the mother country. Okay, all right, yeah, and this is how they feed them. All right, when they sell the manufactured goods to the colonies, then they will get all kinds of gold and silver. Right, so this is how they get what they want. Okay, so this is how they believe they can accumulate the wealth and power of the nation. Okay, all right, okay, yeah, so that yeah, so the rest of the history. Okay, right, so that's why some countries, they love this idea. Okay, right, yeah, any questions, concerns? Okay, so this is what we have to know. Okay, that's all. We are not going to dig any deeper. Okay, right, so in other words, when we look at mercantilism, okay, it's basically a zero-sum game. Anyone who knows what that means? A zero-sum game? What does it mean? Well, not exactly. Okay, that's not the answer. But is also talking about resources. Anyone who have heard about the idea of zero-sum game? Well, I can show you another clue. So, a zero-sum game is when a person or when a nation is accumulating wealth at the expenses of. If one part increases, another has to. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Katrina. Yes. Okay, right. So yeah. So you can see when you are getting more, it's not because there are extra resources being created. It's just you are taking the resources from other people. Okay, so at the end, when you look at the number in total, it's the same. Okay, yeah, think about this. All right, so the total has not changed. Okay, it's just you are taking, the resources from the others. Okay, so here is same thing. Okay, to mercantilism. Okay, it's a zero-sum game. So when they have that idea, the nation is actually accumulating wealth at the expenses of other countries, the colonies. Okay, why they are getting more wealthy? It's because they are exploiting other colonies. Okay, all right. Yeah, not because they are working with each other and they create extra wealth, for all of the people. No. All right. Yeah. When you look at, the resources on Earth as a whole, same number, fixed number. Okay. It's just you are taking other resources from the others. Okay. That's the game. Okay. That's the game. All right. And from here, it's such a very bad idea. Okay. Because this is not the kind of idea that we have right now in the modern society in the 21st century. Okay, yeah, it's not a win-win situation. Okay, right? So this kind of idea, was there during that period until Big Daddy was born. Okay, and this is the Big Daddy. Okay, this guy right here. Okay, yeah. After this guy was born, well, I'm pretty sure you know who that is. After watching the video, okay. So well, I'm just gonna ask, okay, very quickly, I guess. Yeah, who is this? Who is the Big Daddy? Yeah, right. So Big Daddy is Adam Smith. So Adam Smith, we all know he is the father of modern economics. Okay, yeah. So until he was born and he created a new idea for economics, for developing wealth of a country, and that really affects the nations, how they how they manage their economics in the future. Okay, so that's why Adam Smith, very important person. Okay. All right. Yeah. So there you go. but still, yeah, you still see quite a lot of impact from mercantilism, even when you go to 19th century. Even when it was 19th century, you still see a lot of bad influences from mercantilism. Okay, all right, yeah, and I don't know if you have heard about that news. There was, in Hong Kong, there was a primary teacher who was teaching history. Okay, all right, and he taught it wrong. Okay, and he taught the students, the reason for Opium War, okay, during Qing Dynasty, it was because the British, they wanted to eradicate opium in China. That's why they, started the war. okay, yeah, that was the case. All right, that was what you see here. I don't know why. Yeah, maybe he or she didn't sleep last night, so he or she just said something wrong. Okay, but when we talk about that case, Opium War, it is also related to economics. Okay, so can someone here, can you try to correct the mistake that the history teacher made? So what was the true reason why there was Opium War? Can someone just briefly explain it in Okay, make China buy opium. Okay, but trade, right, all together, very good, right? But you know why British, they had to sell opium. They had to sell opium to China during that period. Yeah, because they needed the tea. Okay, yeah, and during that, British, they like tea. Okay, I'm not being racist. Okay, all right, when you look at their teeth. All right, well, not being racist. All right, yeah, but they love tea. Okay, yeah. Look, I said it, not being racist. Okay, all right. During that period, okay, Great Britain, they bought a lot of tea and silk and some other products from China, okay, and which created a huge trade deficit, okay, and Great Britain, they were trying to balance that trade deficit, and they had a great idea. Yeah, why don't we just sell opium to China? Yeah, knowing that they didn't know the addiction of opium. Okay, so they just sold opium to China, and it went well. Okay, so a lot of Chinese people, they bought opium. Okay, so the trade deficit is getting reduced. That is good. Yeah, that is good. And eventually, okay, people in China, they know the damage from opium. Some guy, named Mr. Lam, okay, Lam Zhak Chui, right, burn all the opium in Fumun, all right, yeah, and that was the cause of the Opium War, okay, because you're burning all my stuff, okay, because I'm trying to earn some silver, right, by selling opium, and now you burn all my stuff, so yeah, I'm just going to destroy you. Okay, all right. They just advance from the south to the north, if I'm not mistaken, and then they approached Nanjing, somewhere around there. Okay, and look, and the Qing emperor, they surrender. Okay, yeah, of course, because Nanjing is so close to the capital city in China, which is Peking, right? Yeah. And they sign a treaty. What is that called? What is that treaty called? Yeah, pop quiz. Okay, I just want to see if you have the right history. What is that treaty called? Huh? So after they surrender because of the Opium War. Yeah, right. Yeah, Treaty of Nanking. Right. Yeah, that's it. But what was the cost? What was the cost from there? Can you briefly tell us the cost from the Treaty of Nanking? Yeah, Hong Kong Island and a lot of silver. Yeah, a lot of silver as compensation, and also our Hong Kong Island, and that's how we lost our Hong Kong Island, and it became a colony. All right, yeah. So you see here, right? They're related. Okay, yeah, and all because of trade. Yeah, because they believe, right? This is how we, can build up our wealth, and that's why we do this, do that, and yeah, there you go. Okay, right? Yeah. Well, that's good. At least you know. Yeah. At least I know you have the right history with you. So that's very good. Yeah. Good. Good job. Okay. Right. So yeah, let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. Yeah. Talk about Adam Smith. Okay. Right. You see here. Yeah, the father of modern economics. Okay. Yeah, he was born in 18th century. Okay, but still, the ideas that he had really influenced the modern world. Okay, even though it was developed by him in the 18th century. Okay, all right. So that's why he is the father of modern economics. Okay, because that guy is just out of his mind. Yeah, crazy. Like how do you see this coming in the future? Yeah, the prophecy that he made, it was crazy. Okay, yeah, and he was a Scottish. Okay, yeah, you see here. Yeah, so many economists. They are also philosopher. Okay, yeah, and once he developed his ideas, okay, yeah, people after they call it classical economics. Okay, all right. So that's Adam Smith. That's Adam Smith. All right, yeah, and when we talk about Adam Smith's idea, is actually very close to our city. Yeah, so look at this. Yeah, just look at our Hong Kong, right? So this is just a picture from 1950s, and this is one of the pictures from now. Okay, so you see the difference. Okay, so you see here, in the 1950s, we were all living in wooden houses. Okay, yeah, we were very poor. Okay, bad hygiene, low literacy rate, very bad. Okay, but like after 70 years, okay, we become somewhere, okay, which has one of the highest GDP in the world. Okay, and look at this. Look how developed we are. Okay, the city that we are living. Okay, and I can tell you, look, this rapid development here in Hong Kong actually fulfills Adam Smith's ideas. Okay, all right. So here is something that I want you to do for research. Okay, so try to finish the research today, and tomorrow I will ask you. Okay, all right. So you want to make some research, quick research. Okay. See here, yeah, what causes the development of Hong Kong? So first of all, okay, why it fulfills Adam Smith's idea. All right, so here, that's one. Okay, so that's one research that I want you to make. Okay, and also here, look at the questions here. Yeah, look at the questions here. Okay, so I really want you to look deep into Adam Smith. From Adam Smith's perspective. Okay, how can we improve the wealth of a nation effectively? Okay, all right, yeah. So try to find the answer for me. Okay, and here try to list 4 economic ideas that you have learned so far in these 2 years. All right, that were inspired by Adam Smith. Try to find them. All right, and here just try to use 1 or 2 words to describe his belief. Okay, all right, yeah, simple. Okay, so look it up. Okay, yeah, read books, or go to different YouTube channels and watch different videos. Yeah, or go to the web. Okay, Google it. Okay, all right, and here number 4. Okay, can you just briefly describe the books? Okay, The Wealth of Nations and the theory of moral sentiments that Adam Smith wrote. Okay, that, yeah, I just want you to briefly describe like what's all about those books. Okay, all right, and finally, what can you see, about the major problems from his ideas? Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, this is the first question that I want you to find out. If you are not able to find out the answer for the second one, that's all right. Yeah, did he try to address the problem through his studies? That's all right. But I want you to finish at least the first one here. Okay, all right. So just take some time. All right, and try to do some research. Okay, in your own time, and tomorrow we will discuss them. Okay, I'm going to ask some of you to answer the questions. Okay, all right, and I'll upload this immediately. Okay, so don't worry. All right, so so do your research, and you will see. Look, I'm gonna give you more and more research, in IB, because that's what IB is all about. Okay, when you look at the IB learner profile, the first item is inquiry. Okay, right? So I cannot violate the philosophy of IB, right? So so go ahead and do some research. Okay, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, all right, that's all. Bye, guys. Bye bye.